What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker Bushcraft. So I don't have the teeth of a beaver. Actually, I have nicer teeth than a beaver, and but they're not as strong. I can't chew through wood, but I mean, why would you want to, right? You know, don't want to do that. But maybe you'll go into the woods and not have one of these with you. Maybe you don't have a saw and you need to cut something bigger, and the only thing that you have with you is a smaller knife like this one that I made a few years ago, which I love this knife. I like a smaller knife. I'm not like a big chopper kind of guy. Just a small little blade always is my favorite, but it does have downfalls with it, and that means I can't process wood that a bigger knife could process. Or wait a minute, yes it can. So having a small knife or having a large knife, again, there is give and take with them, but here's the thing. If you don't have any other tools with you, you got to know how to get the job done with what you have. So today I'm going to teach you a knife technique called a beaver chew. That's why at the beginning of the video I was trying to chew on the piece of wood. It's a way that we can actually buck wood, which buck wood means to cut it to length, with just a knife. So what's not going to happen is we're not going to put our knife on a piece of wood and just start pushing, and it's just not going to magically cut in half. We're going to have to work at it a little bit more. So it's going to be a little bit more work than an axe, a lot more work than a saw, but it will get the job done, even something small like this. And again, from a bushcraft standpoint, most of the stuff that we're going to be working with is thumb size down to pinky size. So this is a perfect technique for this, okay? So how do you beaver chew? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to get the piece of wood. Now this could be standing in this part into the ground with the roots. You can do this around the base, although there's better ways. I've done videos on better ways to cut down saplings, but let's just say the saplings cut down or the branches already broke, and you have this and you got to cut this thing in half, okay? So here's how you're going to beaver chew. You have to make a series of cuts. This isn't going to happen in one or two cuts. It's going to happen over a series of cuts. We're going to weaken the wood, okay? So all that you're going to do is you're going to drive your knife at a 45-degree angle where you want to cut the piece in half. You're going to take your knife and drive it in. Now, if you look at that, I didn't make a lot of progress yet. I mean, that is not that much cutting that got accomplished, okay? Just a little bit, but that's okay. After a series of cuts, we're gonna remedy this by taking a lot of material away. So after my first cut, what I'm going to do, if that was 12 o'clock, I'm going to rotate my piece of wood, thinking now I'm cutting at 3. So if it was still stationary, right, we have 12, 3, 6, and then 9 would be facing you. So I'm going to rotate the wood, and I'm going to do the same cut, rotate it again, same cut, rotate it again, same cut. So what you have now are these series of cuts around the piece of wood. Even if they're not even, which I'm definitely not, that's okay for the first round, just to get cutting, okay? Now, between each one of those cuts, all right, they're somewhat like making a square. We're gonna do that same thing now on all those edges, okay? So I have a cut here, and I have a cut here. I'm gonna go between them two and do the same thing. I'm gonna rotate, I'm gonna go between the two, rotate, between the two, I'm going to do that again, okay? So now that's 8 cuts into that piece of wood. At this point, generally with wood thumb size and smaller, okay, you should just be able to take your knee and give it a little bit of pressure and break your piece of wood, okay? So 8 cuts I have accomplished now, splitting this piece of wood in half. Now yes, this is a little bit of a hot mess on both sides, but we can go ahead with our knife and then clean that thing up. So depending what you're going to be doing, if you need to flatten it out, again, I just work my way around, right? Our beaver chew's done. That was the main goal here of the video. But just to show you quick, if you like need a flat edge or you need a flat side on that piece of wood to replicate the same of what that saw would have did, it's easy, right? Flat piece of wood, we're pretty much good to go. So that is the beaver chew. It is a technique that you're going to use a lot with your knife, because sometimes your saw might be in the bottom of your backpack and you're just flying through the woods and you're like, hey, I'm going to need that branch for when I get to camp. You literally, while that branch is up on a tree, you can beaver chew just by manipulating your knife around, pull down, and it breaks it free, and you're good to go. You don't have to stop, take off your pack. You just pull out your belt knife and get it done. And you can see that's a small knife, big piece of hardwood, and you're good to go. All right, so if you like that video, hit like and subscribe down below. Also check us out for our blog, our classes, and all our gear at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. And until the next video, stay in the woods.